Welcome everyone to Celestia Core Devs Call 28. My name is Josh. I'll be hosting. Today, I think we're gonna skip the working group updates. If you do have an update from a working group, you're on one and have any questions or topics to bring up, please do so now or drop it in the chat if you want me to get to it later. I guess before I jump right into it, I hope everyone's doing well and thank you for coming. So getting started right into CIP updates, we have, I guess, in the past 2 weeks, there were some updates to CIP 31, and we also had an audit done. And based on those findings, there were some updates today made to CIP 31. Marco, if you wouldn't mind, could you just give a quick summary of anything you think that's important to highlight there?
Yeah,
Uh,
the main change is that when creating a delegation or after the fact, you can set a different withdrawal address, and that other withdrawal address can be like a non-vesting account, and due to the requirement of adhering to the vesting schedule, then we can't send tokens to a non-vesting account. And so for vesting accounts, you will need to the requirement is just that even if you have a withdrawal address set, your rewards will need to go to your original address, meaning your vesting account.
Cool, makes sense. Thank you. And does anyone have questions there, or anything that you'd like clarified while we're on the topic? I think I'm gonna take the silence as a no. Next topic is, I guess, like all related to the same Lotus Network upgrade, CIP. That was also moved to final along with 31 today. Last week we had CIPs 29, 30, and 32, like we discussed, moved to final status. So everything is done for the Lotus Network upgrade, which is V4 of Celestia. So on that note, I know that we have an RC that should be coming this week for V4 of Celestia app. TBD on exactly when. That will go on Arabica after that's out. I'm assuming things go well with that. I think we're looking around like 2 weeks until that's on Mocha. Some Root will correct me if I'm wrong here. And then after that is successful with whatever changes might be necessary, we'll push that to mainnet afterwards. Do those roughly sound right?
Yeah, I'll just maybe clarify one thing. We're going to create an RC
Oh,
this
sorry.
week, and we'll use that to bump Celestia node so that Celestia node's compatible with Celestia at v4. But the Arabica release will likely happen next week, and that's the one that'll go on Arabica, and then obviously after that trickle through all of the test nets.
Cool. So I think it sounds like we're looking around a month for that to be on mainnet, assuming things go smoothly. Does that sound roughly right?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. Right. That was like pretty much most of what we need to talk about. Sorry. One of the other things that is not something that requires a CIP, but I think is relevant to the core devs is there's a discussion on the forum about changing the sign blocks window from 10,000 to 20,000 blocks, which is changes the slashing window from 3.5 hours to 7 hours. It looks like it has a pretty good amount of support on the forum, but I want to know if I guess anyone in the call has thoughts or wants to talk about it more. And honestly, just raise visibility into that if you haven't seen the discussion yet and do have something to say.
I think I wrote down a comment on that thread in the forum, and it sounded like the root problem was actually punishing people for jailing off-chain. So jailing isn't bad, it's actually good. It rewards validators that stay up more, because the only way that you get punished here, you don't actually get slashed for jailing in the state machine. You only lose out on inflation. So it rewards validators that stay up. It punishes validators slightly if they go down. And the real punishment here that I think we're trying to, which is fair, like that's a fair punishment. We should aim for that. That's good. And it also keeps the network healthy. So like if you jail a validator, they're no longer missing slots. So if you miss a slot, then the only solution we have there is the timeout. So we wait, the network halts effectively for that block height or that round until we move on to the next one. So it's bad for the network and it doesn't reward validators fairly if we have this, if we increase this value. What I think we actually need to do is reduce punishments that are unfair. So this is, I think, unrelated to anyone on this call, which is just the delegation program, where the delegation program, if a validator gets jailed or something, they get removed from the delegation program. I don't know what it is, but it's something like that. When we should advocate for changing that instead. And in my opinion, you should actually reduce the jailing window from 3 hours to like 1 hour, because it's not bad to be jailed. And maybe name it something else if you really want it to sound less bad. But it's a healthy operation. Like it's meant to keep the network healthy. It's meant to reward validators that have good uptime, and changing this, increasing this goes against that. It defeats the purpose of it. So anyway, what I'm trying to say is like we're not addressing the root of the problem by increasing this value. We're treating the symptoms. And if we really like, that's not a good strategy long term.
Wanna second the it seems solving one problem. It's like a problem that is like off chain, but I would argue against reducing it until just block sync catches up because as a validator, like block sync is like really slow right now. And so it's hard to sometimes it's like you have to have multiple nodes spun up to and potentially migrate keys or switch your key management system in order to catch up in a meaningful time. Many times that node that is behind will not be caught up, even if it's like a couple thousand blocks or 10, 20,000 blocks. It takes a couple more than 2 to 3 hours to catch up to the head.
We are working on block sync next. But for what it's worth, I still would, I mean, we don't have to shorten it, but I would still push in that direction because it's still doing the same things that we just described. It's keeping the network healthy. And you can just submit a unjail message after you get back to the tip.
Thank you, Evan and Marco. Yeah, I guess some of that isn't already in the thread there, I think that might be useful to add to the forum discussion, and maybe steer this in the right direction if needed. That's all we had for the topics on the agenda. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to discuss or any more questions about what we already talked about? Nice. That's all we had. So I hope everyone has a good rest of their day, and I think we can look forward to a call on April 30th at the same time, which is 4 p.m. UTC. Yeah, cool. So yeah, thank you everyone for coming, and look forward to seeing you on the next call.